This digital presentation of the findings and implications for my textual analysis is the final segment of an organizational communication assignment for Queen's University. Full details for how to access the previous segments will be provided within the video. Symbolic convergence theory was utilized to better understand the cultural significance of the musical artifacts across all types of musical genres and how those artifacts impact future or developing subcultures. 4 categories were considered for their evaluation in demonstrating the effectiveness of the theory when applied to cultural elements of an organization. Each element reviewed highlighted different facets of the impact of the Gretsch instruments as artifacts within the organizational culture. The diversity of the subcultures, the distinctive varied musical genres are quite extensive, yet they are all interconnected through the artifacts and the shared visions of reality as an immersion experience. The musicians become part of their own narratives as the audience and their fan followers receive and respond to the messages crafted and communicated with the tangible artifacts. As depicted in this photo, the guitar is well worn and the audience expressions indicate excitement for their inclusion in the moment, a shared reality that is centered around the artifact and the storyteller, Tim Armstrong from Rancid. A recurrent discovery within the research was the connection between the artifacts and the pioneering genres of emergent sounds, each progressing from known and popular music. This was in agreement with the Eisenberg, Goodall, and Trethewey explanation for cultural elements of an organization. Observances of the performance clips was focused primarily on the shared reality between the musicians and the audience, and if such a shared reality was demonstrated using communicative exchanges with the artifacts. Not only were the artifacts used to craft the messages, but at times they were also endorsed during performances by musicians for their fans. Musician Brian Setzer has turned signing audience members' Gretsch guitars into a celebrated ritual, even signing for Don Gretsch himself as documented on YouTube videos. The trade publications reviewed were informative for not only the technical aspects and capabilities of the artifacts through the product demonstrations and reviews, but also illuminated the perspective and focus for the advertising and marketing campaigns. Shown here is the Sound of Honor campaign featuring Corey Campbell from Susto. However, most revealing of all were the interviews that correlated pioneering musicians with the artifacts they crafted their musical language and narratives with. The performance reviews that were evaluated were useful for having a perspective provided from sources that had a purpose beyond presence and attendance of how the artifacts were incorporated and contributed to a shared rhetoric vision between the performer's display of their narrative and the audience engagement during that shared reality. In 2008, Ben Rateliff of the New York Times described musician Jack White's use of the Gretsch during his performance as allowing him to get an exaggerated sound. From another viewpoint by the Cavan Project about the baritone guitar shown in this YouTube screenshot picture, this performance captured the Gretsch sound in all its glory and inspired him to acquire one for himself. First, warp-free drum hoop, developed in 1918, to musician partnerships beginning with Billy Gladstone in 1937. The Gretsch organization has been extending the great Gretsch sound and changing manufacturing approaches to accommodate emerging genres. These changes have also brought about the realization to incorporate musician input for craftsmanship and design, beginning with the Chet Atkins beloved Mr. Guitar, who relished their Filtertron pickup that gave him the sound he wanted, as published on Reverb.com in an archived interview. That great Gretsch sound also complemented the British invasion, with George Harrison from the Beatles playing one of their guitars with that model recently being duplicated and re-released as a tribute. Their relevance in the music industry, including the celebration of 125 years of accomplishments, has garnered them an exhibit and induction into the Country Music Hall of Fame as outlined on their website timeline. Other awards and recognitions presented to the Gretsch family for their endurance and longevity spans 6 generations and highlights involvement in music education, philanthropic works, and overall contributions to the music community. This was demonstrated with the presentation of the She Rocks Award, presented by the Women's International Music Network in 2014 to Dinah Gretsch. The organization is still enduring now as 2018 has ushered in their 135th year of celebrating the great Gretsch sound. These findings offer opportunity to further explore the dynamics and distinction between brand or organizational artifacts and brand and organizational experiences as it impacts all stakeholders and the potential for expansion of the brand or product into alternative markets, including creation and sustaining markets that are not yet in existence. According to Borman's 2001 explanation of symbolic convergence theory, also known as fantasy theme analysis, the theory is supportive of the Gretsch instruments being artifacts used ritually from genre to genre in the music industry. Additional research could further investigate cultural artifacts as communicative mediums beyond their symbolistic meanings within the culture and brand. Gretsch instruments are as pioneering as the musicians that use them. Their timeline demonstrates adaptation from one genre to another and the ability to incorporate their artifacts as those genres and subcultures developed from inspirations and ritual inclusions from the preceding ones. The storytellers use these artifacts and represent an expansive and diverse convergence of styles and approaches, all equally allowing a shared rhetorical vision and experience between the storyteller crafting their message and the audience engagement. The artifacts are bridging their differences.